And so the days just pass by, slower than wine, and brittle as bone. And if it don't sound like much, then you must not know love, or the hole it can leave behind. Where'd it go?
Track number 7 on my new album, Some Days I'm a Lion. It's called Easy No. And this is definitely the most melancholy song on the album, but it's also full of hope and full of comfort, because the meaning behind this song is, actually, I was living in Nashville, October of 2010. I was out in Portland releasing Long Before the Wheel, and I ran into a girl that just immediately caught my attention. It's kind of that I'll know you moment. I felt like, I don't feel like I knew her from somewhere. I felt like I knew her from somewhere, and I felt like my soul knew her. And so we struck up conversation, and we started dating immediately. In fact, I think I called her the next day and says, I'm going to play in New York in 2 days. Can we go out tomorrow? Or it's going to have to wait. And we went out, and she's kind of all I thought about from that point on. And so I ended up going back to Nashville. And this song it's about distance. It's about being away from that. You have found love, and you have to be away from it for a while. And so the days just pass by, slower than wine and brittle as bone. And there's 2,000 miles and 22 days between the two of you. And it doesn't sound like much, but it's a hell of a wait. It's a grueling experience to just count down the days until you get to see the person again. And so as melancholy as Easy No might sound, it's actually an extremely hopeful song about love, because it's that anticipation, it's that grueling wait between point A and point B when you can be reunited. And it's no offense to people who've gone through hard times in history, but it's kind of a grandiose gesture saying, she's over there and I'm here, and I don't think anybody in history has ever experienced such a trial. Even the pioneers walking across through the winter snow and the Great Depression during the Dust Bowl, I don't think that compares to what I'm going through right now. Clearly, that's blown out of proportion. Clearly, their life was a little tougher ultimately. But that's just the gesture that I'm throwing out there, that this is such a grueling experience being away from this love that I have finally found. But luckily, love is patient. We joked that it's prog folk rock or folk prog rock, because in the middle there's some odd time signatures, and I didn't know I was doing it. When I played it for the producer for the first time, I was inconsistent, because I think I felt what it needed to do, but I was inconsistent because I didn't know if it was an 8 or an 7. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but the middle, the time signature changes. And I think it's something that I felt, but I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know the time signature was changing, so I was inconsistent. And so finally, when we boiled it down and said, let's change the time signature mid-song, that was a moment where I had to learn what I was kind of doing naturally. I had to be taught a new thing that I was already kind of doing naturally. And so we laugh about that, because there's a lot of things I throw into the songs that I don't know that I'm doing them. They just sound right to me. And so we always have a good laugh at that. My favorite line of the song is probably, and I think I already said it, but probably the days just pass by slower than wine and brittle as bone. I'm a big fan of alliteration, and brittle as bone is something I always enjoy singing. It kind of makes me grin a little bit when I sing it. And slower than wine, I don't know what that means really. I just know the lifestyle around wine and the creation of wine and drinking wine is a slow, effortless. I won't say effortless, but it's a slow. There's no sense of urgency. There's no rush, and so the days pass by slower than wine. I'll also say when it comes to the lyrics of this song, the ending when it says "Love is patient." Love is patiently waiting for me. I stumbled upon that. I was singing live one night, and it's supposed to just say love is patient, love is patient, love is patient. But one night at a particular gig, I think it was at the Edgefield in Troutdale, Oregon, I was playing for a really intimate crowd, and I was kind of milking that moment, and I said, love is patient. Love is patient. It must be that was an ad lib. It just must be. Love is patient. And then I said love is patiently because it rhymed. And then in an instant, and in that moment, love is patiently waiting for me. And I ended it, and I turned away and I wrote that line down. I did not want to forget that. That is the way the song needed to end. Because here I am across the nation, 2,200 miles away from this love that I had finally found. And love is patient. It must be. Love is patient. Love is patiently waiting for me. And so that was, lyrically speaking, that's one of my favorite moments because it wasn't contrived. It happened in the heat of the moment, live at a show. And to me, those are some of the best moments. My favorite moment in the studio for Easy No was probably the moment I heard the banjo for the first time on this song. I used banjo a couple times in older records, but this song it had a moment that the banjo kicks in, and it just it's uplifting in its own way, and so. When I first heard those couple notes play out, it put a smile on my face, no doubt. So there you have it, track number 7 on my new album, Some Days I'm a Lion. It's called Easy No, and it's about me finally finding that love and having to wait to see them again, and the hardships. And how that's a difficult situation, and how nothing in the history of man has ever been more difficult than having to be apart and having to patiently wait to see each other again.
Like the 1930s in the Dust Bowl, when they fell on hard times, was it easy? No, not one bit. Like the pioneers walking in the